The marketplace buzzed with the usual cacophony of alien voices haggling over prices. But Zix 471 barely registered the sounds anymore. She sat hunched in her containment cage, her forearms wrapped around her thin frame, watching potential buyers examine her with the same disgust she had grown accustomed to over the past 3 cycles. "This one's defective," sneered a Throxian merchant, his scaled hide gleaming under the artificial suns. "Look at those malformed limbs, only 4 appendages, when her species should have 6. And that discoloration around her sensory organs suggests neural damage." The slave trader, a corpulent vegan with credit signs practically floating in his eyes, waved dismissively. "She's from a good bloodline, I assure you. The Kelani are excellent workers when properly motivated. Perhaps a slight discount for the ... aesthetic concerns." Zix 471 closed her eyes and tried to make herself smaller. It was true she was malformed. By her people's standards. Born with only 4 arms instead of the traditional 6, and with a neurological condition that made her movement slightly slower than other Kelani. She had been labeled defective from birth. Her own family had sold her to cover debts when she was barely past adolescence. "I'll take her." The voice was different, rougher somehow, speaking in heavily accented galactic standard. ZYX 471 looked up to see a being she had never encountered before, bipedal with only 2 arms and no visible tail or sensory appendages. Its skin was a strange peachy color, and short brown fur covered only the top of its head. Most unsettling were its forward-facing eyes, predator eyes. "Ah, a human!" the trader exclaimed, his demeanor shifting to calculated friendliness. "Excellent choice, excellent choice. This one will serve you well in whatever capacity you require." The human, she had heard of them, the newest addition to the Galactic Consortium, though few had ever seen one studied her with those unnerving eyes. What's wrong with her? Nothing that affects her work capability, I assure you. Merely some minor physical variations. I asked her. The human said quietly, but something in his tone made the trader step back. Zix 471 stared at this strange being. In all her cycles of slavery, no potential owner had ever addressed her directly. I have only 4 arms, sir, and my neural pathways are slower than normal for my species. I am ... defective." The human crouched down to her eye level, bringing his face closer to the cage bars. She noticed small details, tiny hairs on his chin, the way his eyes crinkled slightly at the corners, a small scar across his knuckles. "What's your name?" Another first. "Zix 471, sir." "That's not a name. That's a number." "What did your parents call you?" She hesitated. She had not spoken her birth name in so long. "Zalia, sir." "Zalia." He said it carefully, as if testing the sounds. "I'm Marcus Chun, and you're coming with me." The transaction was completed quickly, the human paying without haggling. As they walked through the spaceport, Zalia struggled to keep up with Marcus's long strides, her shackles making movement difficult. "These need to come off," Marcus muttered, stopping at a security station. He spoke rapidly with the automated system in a language she didn't recognize, then turned to her. "Hold still." The shackles fell away. For the first time in cycles, Zalia could move freely. She rubbed her wrists, staring at Marcus in confusion. "Sir, I don't understand. Stop calling me sir. Marcus is fine." He was already walking again, and she hurried to follow. "Tell me about your species. What are Kelani naturally good at?" We're usually employed for detail work. Our multiple appendages allow us to multitask efficiently. We have excellent pattern recognition and mathematical processing abilities. Usually, Zalia's shoulders sagged. I can only do about 60% of what a normal Kelani can accomplish due to my limitations. Marcus stopped walking and turned to face her fully. 60% of excellent is still pretty damn good. What do you actually enjoy doing when you're not being told what to do? The question was so unexpected that Zalia almost stumbled. I like solving puzzles, complex equations. I used to design mathematical models for theoretical engineering problems before. She trailed off, unsure why she was sharing this. Show me. Marcus pulled out a small datapad and handed it to her. The screen displayed a three-dimensional engineering schematic, some kind of propulsion system with multiple variables and constraints. Without thinking, Zalia began manipulating the display, her four hands dancing across the interface as she identified inefficiencies and calculated optimizations. Within minutes, she had restructured the entire system, improving efficiency by 37%. She looked up to find Marcus watching her with an expression she couldn't decipher. Incredible, he breathed. Do you realize what you just did? I solved it? Was I not supposed to? Zalia, that was a level 7 engineering problem. My ship's computer estimated it would take most species approximately 4 hours to reach an optimal solution. You did it in 6 minutes. She stared at him, certain this was some kind of test or trap. But I'm defective. I'm slow. Marcus laughed, not mockingly, but with genuine warmth. Says who? Your people? The ones who value quantity of limbs over quality of mind. He shook his head. On Earth, we have a saying, different doesn't mean defective. They continued to his ship, a sleek vessel that looked remarkably advanced for such a young species. As they boarded, Marcus gestured around the ship's interior. Welcome to the Tenacity. She's mine, and I run legitimate cargo and research missions throughout this sector. I could use someone with your abilities as my operations coordinator and systems analyst. He paused, watching her carefully. If you're interested. You ... You want me to work with you? Not for you, with me. As crew, you'll have your own quarters, full pay, and complete freedom to leave whenever you choose. Zalia felt something she hadn't experienced in cycles, hope, tentative and fragile, but unmistakably real. Why? Marcus was quiet for a moment, looking out at the stars visible through the ship's viewport. Because I know what it's like to be dismissed before people get to know what you're capable of. Humans are the newest kids on the galactic block. Most species think we're too primitive, too aggressive, too different to amount to much. He turned back to her with that strange, warm expression. But we've learned that diversity isn't weakness. Strength. Your people saw your differences as flaws. I see them as exactly what makes you valuable. For the first time in longer than she could remember, Zalia smiled. When do we start? Marcus grinned back, extending his hand in what she somehow knew was a gesture of partnership. Right now, if you're ready. As she reached out with one of her four hands to clasp his, Zalia realized that sometimes what others called useless was simply misunderstood. And sometimes it took meeting the right person to discover that different could be exactly what the universe needed. The Tenacity's engines hummed to life, carrying them toward the stars and toward a future Zalia had never dared to imagine possible.